and welcome back to our YouTube channel,
Fulfill the Game of Life.
Well, today we have something special for you, something completely unique to Portugal.
Pastel de Nata.
Pastel de Nata.
In the pursuit of trying to figure out how in the world can you not find this amazing pastry all over the world?
It's crazy. This is the biggest mystery in all of Portugal, in our opinion. Now look, before we start this video, you might notice that this is our first food video other than our McDonald's visit. There's a reason for that. It's because food shows and watching people eat food and the various tastes and what people like and what people don't like, it's a little bit of a challenge in my mind to say, you know what, we need to be really fair, because I don't know how many of those food shows you've ever watched where these people, it doesn't matter what they put in their mouth, it is the best thing they've ever put in their mouth.
I've seen that.
You've seen it all the time, right? So it's like this great exaggeration of how good things taste. I swear if they picked up a penny and chewed on it on those television shows, they would swear to you that was the best tasting penny they had ever eaten. Well, let me tell you about Pastel de Nata. That is not the case with Pastel de Nata.
No. I think we had heard about it, and finally we went down to Fábrica de Nata in Lisbon, and I think that was after we had tried another store previously to that, and we went down there and tried theirs, and we fell in love.
Now, do you remember we had the restaurant right below our
yes,
our flat?
It was a cafe.
In Lisbon.
Yes,
yep. And we had Pastel de Nata there,
yes.
And it was good.
It was,
and it's practically good everywhere you go. But in a few cases, it's great, or even fantastic. What we've seen, we've tried it now downtown Lisbon, as you said,
yes.
And multiple pastries in gas stations.
Grocery stores,
fat in the malls. I mean,
yes.
we have bought it to death, and we can tell you there is no bad Pastel de Nata.
No, not at all.
You'd agree?
There's just varying differences between them.
Yeah, for us, after eating this for about 4 months now, you can tell the difference. Some have a lot of custard.
Yes.
Some have more crust than custard.
More crust. It's a little more flaky, or it's a little more creamy, or it has more cinnamon flake tones to it. So.
Exactly. So you can tell the difference from place to place.
Yeah.
Some are a little sweeter than others,
Yes.
which I seem to prefer. And it's just one of those things, again, the greatest mystery of Portugal is simply how in the world this stuff is not all over the planet. How is it not downtown Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, that you're walking in and buying these things?
Yes.
Because it's that good.
Absolutely.
It's talk about an opportunity to make money. If you could get a few people to try these things all over the world, I believe it would just explode. It's amazing.
I think so.
Well, so somewhere in our excitement there, we finally said, well, you know what? Let's go figure out a little more about how these things are made, right?
Absolutely. So through our Airbnb app, I was scrolling through, what to do locally, and there was a Pastel de Nata class with a local. And so that was exciting to learn that, because you're going to get the history behind it. So the recipe dates back to 1837, and the predecessor to Pastel de Nata is Pastel de Belém, and you cannot use Pastel de Belém in the name because that is actually owned by the original bakery. So
it still exists, right?
It still exists.
You can still go get your hands on them.
The shop still exists. We haven't gone there yet, but we plan to visit there next month.
Yeah, we just didn't know what we didn't know, right?
Exactly.
So now we're becoming a little more educated. We'll make it a special trip in about a month, right?
Yes. We're looking forward to that. I'm excited.
Yep. Let's go see how these things are made. And Christy signed us up for a class. We jumped in the car, and the footage starts here. Well, we're kicking the morning off, and we are in Porto, downtown Porto, and we're off on an adventure today to help us understand
how they make the Pastel de Nata.
Yeah, the biggest mystery in all of Portugal for us is how you don't see the Pastel de Nata all over the planet and all over the United States. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Because it really is really, really good.
So we thought it would be an awesome idea to figure out the secrets of making Pastel de Nata.
So we're going to pay someone to show us. So it should be fun. And our breakfast of champions this morning. Look at that.
Delicious.
Oh, croissant and donuts.
So I was terribly excited to get to the class and figure out how to make it.
This recipe I was telling to you in the car, it's special because it's from my grandmother, but it's a simple recipe, and here the most challenging is the dough because it's puff pastry, and you know that it can be a bit tricky. Here I have more or less the ingredients prepared, 3 simple ingredients for the dough, just flour, water and margarine or butter. The most important, it should be hard and cold. That I send you.
Okay.
Just a pinch of salt, just to balance the flavors. Just a pinch with your hand, okay? But I did it already.
Okay.
There you go. So this is the first 4 mixtures for the first mixture. So it's the sugar, water, cinnamon stick and the lemon. Just throw all the milk inside, and this mixture is the opposite of the sugar, because the sugar we don't need to touch. A little bit more, there you go. But we'll leave it boiling for 2-3 minutes.
Nice.
Can you see the line?
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you can't see the line, if it's falling like a line, it's good. So we just go. And we don't need to grease the tins. Put in the tin always with the circles facing up. Now you just spread, you bring the dough until the top.
Cross.
Mine is just a bit uneven, I keep smooshing them. Yeah. It's very easy. Airbnb.
I feel better about that one.
It's all about color. So when you start to see that the dough, it starts to grow a little bit and to have like this toast brown color, you can turn on the broiler or the grill to try to have a nice color in the custard. So now what I will do, I will just put one level down from the center, and then maybe in 10 minutes I will come here, I will check the color. If it starts to be brown, I put in the middle of the oven with the grill on top. The last 2-3 minutes.
Got it.
My son-in-law works as a chef and he loves to bake. So I wanted to take the recipe back to him so that hopefully in his shop that he works in, he can actually recreate this pastry in Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah, that's a great idea, by the way. Hello, Sean. We hope you're doing well. And Alyssa, we love both of you guys. But yes, you should watch this and you should spend a little time making this. And trust me, these things are fantastic.
So our host gave us tons of history behind the Pastel de Belém and the Pastel de Nata.
The Jerónimos monastery that you have in Belém, probably you have seen, beautiful. It was a bit destroyed because of the war. So people that were living there, they start to think what they can do to sell, to have some money to rebuild the monastery. People were really poor, and the women were using a lot of the egg whites to starch the clothes. So they, as you can imagine, they had a lot of egg yolks leftovers. So they just put together simple ingredients to these yolks and they create pastel de nata. They just start to sell like crazy, but then after 2-3 years the monastery closed and they sell the recipe, the first and the secret recipe, to the eventually owner of Pastel de Belém bakery. They just keep the name Pastel de Belém because it was where it was created, but I think all over Portugal and the world it's nata. We call by nata. Someone told me Google always have an answer to give us because it's a secret recipe, so they don't give to anyone. That in Belém they use half cream and half milk in the custard. That's why you find it more dense.
Interesting.
So they just put the name Nata just to be different from Pastel de Belém, because you cannot call Pastel de Belém. It's only there. So if you go to Lisbon, you have to go there.
Okay.
It's amazing.
She gave us all the tips and tricks, you know, to making the dough crispy and flaky, full of layers. And I think we're gonna leave that out so that you guys can enjoy the local folks that are providing these classes. So I completely encourage you guys to take a moment, take a class with a local.
And just as when we had the tour in Sintra, we also had some, would you say, tour mates for this as well?
We did. They were awesome. They were from the UK, actually Manchester.
Yes,
In the UK.
Dan
And Katie.
and Katie.
Hi,
We'll say
Katie
hello
and
to you
Dan.
guys. We'll definitely have you in some of the footage here, and it was a pleasure getting to know you guys, and hope you enjoy at least being a little bit a part of this trip.
Our host was amazing. I loved her to death. After the pastel was done, her husband actually arrived around lunchtime, and he teased us with a delicious smelling lunch that he made. It was fantastic. He also has a class making fish, I think, right?
I don't know. I was still eating.
Oh. The 6th pastel.
6 or 7.
Yes, they were delicious. But it was amazing. I had a really good time.
Thank you so much. You did it.
Applause.
Yes. Palmas. We say palmas.
Palmas.
You did a great job teaching us, by the way. We appreciate that. In closing this video, there's definitely one other piece that maybe most everyone in Portugal is probably already aware of this, and we had already had feedback from one of our viewers on what to do here. Here's one thing we love about Pastel de Natas. Back in Magoito Beach, we would constantly go to the mall and we would buy like 6 of these things or 10 of these things. We'd take them home, we'd put them in the refrigerator.
Yes.
And we would eat them for breakfast.
We would reheat it.
But Christy had
Yes.
you know, she kind of worked into her own reheating process.
Yep.
We kind of want to tell you that. You're probably, again, if you're in Portugal, I'm sure you're aware of it.
Yeah.
But these things reheat beautifully. I mean, they're as good as when you just take them from the oven, I'm sure, the first time.
Absolutely.
So you want to kind of walk through your process?
So the process was really simple. All I did was take it out of the fridge and take a little bit of the chill off of it on defrost in the microwave for about 30 seconds to a minute. And then I just put it in the already preheated oven and let that sit for about 10 minutes. And then took it out, and they were fantastic. Crispy again, hot, and delicious.
Yeah, and we also had a viewer add a little piece to that, is that he'll before he heats it up in the microwave to start with, which was kind of coincidental, that's the same thing that we would do, but he would put a couple of drops of water on top of the custard to kind of keep it from overcooking on the top. Mm-hmm. And just as Christy said, you know, you heat the custard up a little bit separate in the microwave and then put it back in the oven and it crisps back up. And it's a fantastic breakfast, right?
Absolutely.
Pretty much the only reason we haven't done that here is because our little meal doesn't have an oven to reheat it.
No.
Which, you know, kind of take away the crispy part of it, right?
Yes.
But these things are phenomenal. And if you're watching this and you're somewhere around the world and you're kind of in the bakery business, I would really urge you to consider, you know, getting a little bit of the recipes out there and trying some, because I'm telling you,
absolutely,
a few people try those things, they will come back for them again.
Absolutely.
They are phenomenal.
Our tour guide in Sintra actually did mention that one of the locals there from Sintra, I don't remember where she opened her shop, but that's all she sells is the pastel de nata and cafe, and her business is booming.
I'm almost for certain, as we talked to Danielle about it, that you saw in our Sintra video, who's from New York City, she said there was at least one shop in New York City.
There was. I remember seeing it a year or two ago on one of the cooking channels like Food Network. His business is also just doing amazing.
Yep. So look, in all seriousness, we love the things. They are as good as any pastry we've ever had.
Yes.
The bottom line is this: if you get here and maybe the first one you didn't really fall in love with, try a few.
Yes.
There's enough variances that you'll trip across something you most likely absolutely love.
Absolutely. And if you get here and your first stop is Lisbon, go to Pastel de Belém. And then try Fábrica de Nata.
Yeah, Fábrica
de Nata.
Fábrica de Nata was our early favorite, I believe.
Yes.
It was a bit sweeter than the one we had gotten downstairs.
Yeah.
But if you've had creme brulee, the custard is a little bit similar recipe to the creme brulee. And then the crusty outside is with the layers, is super crispy. It's just a beautiful thing. So we definitely want to say that your national pastry here in Portugal is beautiful. We absolutely love it, and we'll probably be having some more in the next couple of days.
I hope so. I'm
Cheers.
going through withdrawals. Saúde.
Saúde.
And our wonderful host introduced us to port wine. I don't know why we haven't had it already. I think it's just because we don't know, like you said, what we don't know. So
yeah, we typically don't buy a lot of wine. We have had the wine in the Airbnbs when we check in, but they've not been port wine.
Yes.
And I know we're not real wine connoisseurs. We lean heavily to sweeter instead of kind of the dry reds, but even the kind of the tart whites, don't particularly love them. However, with the port wine that she served with the Pastel de Natas,
delicious.
Fantastic. It definitely tends to the sweeter side, and we are thoroughly enjoying it. We went to the store to find it and brought some back as well. So
we actually messaged our host to find out what was that delicious port wine that you gave us. So she was lovely enough to send me a picture of it. So
yep. Thank you for watching our video. And if you like the video, don't forget to
give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss more content. Or make it really big.
I want thick crust.
You want pan?
Yeah. I do prefer pan pizza, so you know what to do.
I don't think I've ever had deep south pastel.
Oh, I like that even better. There you go.
We never know. It can be a success.
Accent.
Tart as well.
Oh, something similar?
Yes, it's. They were curious about our version, but I think they have a tart, but it's not with puff pastry. It's some other kind of dough.
I'm sorry, can you say the first part again? The South Korean thing?
When I started the experience, 75-80% of my guests were South Korea. They were traveling a lot to Portugal, also because in Korea at that time was passing a TV show, Portuguese TV show where South Koreans were participating, something like that. So they were curious about this. They told me, lots of them told me about this. The story of the chicken cockerel. Yes. This we call Galo de Barcelos. Did you heard about Barcelos?
No.
Barcelos, it's a beautiful city. It's just here north of Porto, around 1 hour, not even.
Okay.
And this is from there, but you can see everywhere in Portugal, the Galo. And what's the story? In Barcelos, they were having a market in the street selling vegetables. And there was a guy passing through the market, and apparently he stole some vegetable. So the guy that was selling, "You stole the potatoes, come here!" And the guy starts to run, and but then the guy stops. "No, I didn't steal nothing. I'm innocent. No, you steal my potatoes. So now you go to the court." They went to the court, and the judge was eating a fried chicken. And the judge just said, "Okay, shut up. You said already you are innocent. If you are innocent, this chicken I'm eating, it will start to sing coco 3 times." And I think it starts to sing. So this cock is like the symbol of the innocent people that goes to the jail without any fault.
Nice.
So yes, it's just a fairy tale.
That's still cool.
That's
another piece of history.
There we go.